Let's face it, the life of most tires can be rather dull. They spend their time rolling along, mile after mile, simply transporting us to where we need to go. But sometimes things can get a little more interesting. Maybe you take the long way home to enjoy your favorite back road, or take a romp around the cloverleafs after work. Or if you really want to change the scenery, maybe it's a weekend autocross or an HPDE event at the local track. Whichever one of these you call fun, today's extreme performance tires may be just the thing to help you enjoy the thrills of your car day in and day out. To keep pace with the ever-moving performance target for the category, we're seeing some brands tweak their existing design rather than risk falling behind while they design a new tire from the ground up.
One of the newest such evolutions is Hankook's Ventus RS3 version 2. The original version of the Ventus RS3 was popular among autocrossers and pro drifting teams thanks to its good performance in the dry when up to optimal temperature. The new Ventus RS3 version 2 has been tuned with an alternate tread compound designed to work better at lower temperatures, come up to full temperature a little faster, and improve wet traction. Dunlop has taken a similar path with the Direzza Z2 Star Spec. The original Direzza Z2 proved to have a good performance envelope, but for Dunlop, being good wasn't good enough. The new Direzza Z2 Star Spec features a revised tread compound formulated to increase mechanical grip, plus provide quicker warm-up and better ultimate dry performance. To see how well the Hankook and Dunlop evolutions work, we're comparing them with two other extreme performance summer tires, the BF Goodrich G-Force Rival and Yokohama Advan Neova AD08R. On our dry test track, when you look at the performance numbers, it's hard to say there's a bad tire or significant difference among the group. The BF Goodrich G-Force Rival has strong cornering traction and a relatively forgiving nature, but doesn't quite have the precision of the Dunlop. The Dunlop Direzza Z2 Star Spec produced the quickest lap time and is the subjective favorite with our team. This tire really turns down to the apex thanks to very direct steering response combined with powerful lateral grip. Subjectively, the Hankook Ventus RS3 version 2 ranked third behind the Dunlop and BF Goodrich tires, held back slightly by its lower lateral grip and less precision during rapid transitions. The Yokohama Advan Neova AD08R lapped our track slightly faster than the Hankook tire, but from behind the wheel it didn't have quite the forgiving nature or precise feel of the other tires. Wet performance is not the top priority for extreme performance summer tires, but it can be a tiebreaker if wet roads or running a track event or autocross, rain or shine, is a requirement. This time around, our test format gave us an interesting look at how wet performance is affected by temperature. Our warm test day felt like what you might get during an afternoon rain on a warm day, with good water coverage and temperature in the mid-80s. The G-Force Rival didn't have the traction to match the others, feeling edgy as it reached the limit. The Dunlop Direzza Z2 Star Spec felt adequate, but under these conditions, couldn't match the grip of the Hankook and Yokohama tires. On this day, the Hankook Ventus RS3 version 2 really stood out with strong performance and good overall grip. Also doing well on the warm day was the Yokohama Advan Neova AD08R, which repeated its display of controllability and good wet traction found the last time we tested it. Our cool test day had gray skies and temperatures in the mid-50s, feeling more like late spring or early fall rather than the middle of summer. The G-Force Rival was essentially unfazed by the swing in daytime temperature during our testing, performing basically the same on both days, and like before, it provided relatively low overall grip with somewhat abrupt breakaway. On this cool day, the overall performance and feel of the Direzza Z2 Star Spec changed very little from what we found on the warm day, lapping our track within 0.2 of a second of its performance in warmer conditions. The biggest surprise was in the performance of the Ventus RS3 version 2, as it transitioned to feeling rather skittish and edgy to control when temperatures were lower. The good grip and feel of the Advan Neova AD08R from its warm day was mostly absent when conditions were cooler too, as it struggled somewhat to provide the stable handling and progressive feel we found on the warmer day.
Extreme performance summer tires aren't just for track use, so how tolerable they are during everyday driving can be important too. You won't confuse the ride and noise comfort of these tires for a touring tire, but even driving here on the road with surrounding traffic, the handling characteristics can best be described as eager. I mean, these extreme performance tires are ready to change direction with even the slightest input of the steering wheel. To start with, I'm driving in the car with the BF Goodrich G-Force Rival tires, and the overall feel of the G-Force Rival's handling led our team's ratings by a small margin, with good linear response to steering inputs. The ride quality and overall noise levels are reasonable too, especially when you consider this as an extreme performance tire. Now I'm driving on the Dunlop Direzza Z2 Star Spec, And this tire responds very quickly, even with the gentle inputs of street driving. The ride quality is definitely a little firmer than the other 3 tires in the test, and you may not be able to hear it here on the camera, but the overall noise level of this tire is particularly high, with the tread producing a constant whir at really every speed. Now I'm driving on the Hankook Ventus RS3 version 2, and this tire is plenty responsive, but it just doesn't feel quite as direct in the steering wheel as the other 3 tires. While it's firm riding like all extreme performance tires, but it does do the best job at softening the bumps and also generates the lowest amount of tread and impact noise of the group. And finally, I'm driving on the Yokohama Advan Niova AD08R tire, and the overall handling of this tire feels nice and responsive. The ride comfort and noise levels are both reasonable, with our team rating it just behind the Hankook tire. If you want to push your tires to the limit, Extreme Performance summer tires deliver track-capable dry grip and handling, along with the moderate wet weather traction and tolerable road manners many driving enthusiasts can live with every day.
The Dunlop Direzza Z2 Star Spec is perhaps the most focused tire in the group, providing impressive dry and wet traction and handling, coming at the expense of ride comfort and noise levels out on the road. The BF Goodrich G-Force rival strikes more of a balance between road manners and ultimate drive performance, but seems to give up wet traction to get there. The Yokohama Advan Niova AD08R is a solid performer in all areas, but doesn't quite match the strengths of the Dunlop and BF Goodrich tires. And the Hankook Ventus RS3 version 2 is another tire that delivers solid performance, but somehow its change from the original version may have traded a little ultimate dry performance to achieve its test-leading road manners and warm wet weather traction.
As we compare tires side by side, we find each one has its own personality. It's not as easy as choosing between good and bad. So as you view our test results, it's important to focus on your priorities and what fits best with how, where, and what you drive. And be sure to go to TireRack.com for our complete test report and to learn more about the tires featured in this test.